All right, what is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to do another breakdown video. This time we're going to break down Asilo, and we're going to break it down for control. Now, as always on a ranked play match, you have two spawn-in points. One is right here where I'm standing. The other is, back here. And if you're spawning this side, you want to cap B. And why you want to cap B? And there's a way to cap B or defend B. Either way, cap or defend. You want to cap or defend B first, and because you're going to get your team over here and you're going to set up in a particular manner. Now, first, I want to just put a pre-disclosure on this. If you think of the map cut in half this way and then cut in half this way, if I get my cursor to go straight, then you have 4 quadrants on this map, and these 4 quadrants are your spawn points on this map, and you spawn anywhere within those quadrants. Now, when you're playing this capture right here, when you're playing B for a capture or playing B for defend, it doesn't matter. You want your spawn to be in this quadrant, right? Because this is the fastest route to get here. Your team is spawning right back to where they got killed out of. They're keeping the rotation going. But how we do this is our whole team has to hold position, right? If our whole team does not hold position, let's say we're here and we're doing this, and we have them effectively spawning this way, which is the worst spawn because they have to travel all the way across soccer, which is a trip, you guys. It's a long time. So if you're capping and they're coming from here and they're spawning and they're taking all day and tomorrow to run across this field, that's more capture time for you. That's more time your team has to cap, and also vice versa. It's more time you keep them away from that objective. Now, I know people, this is just kind of the scenario of a 4-man team doing one control, one capture at a time, and this would be the ideal situation. And there is instances where, they've broken in here and you need to go over here and switch it up, which is completely, totally fine. This is all in a realistic world where everything is working out for your team thus far. But this house right here, you guys, we're still talking about B, but this house right here, do not go in this house. Do not snipe from this window. If you snipe from this window, you just lost whatever you were trying to do here. Because if you snipe in this window, your team's spawning back here, and then you get the worst spawn you could possibly get for capturing B. I mean, I guess you could spawn this side, but that's very unlikely unless you have an enemy holding here and here, and they're holding dual map control, and you're kind of split spawning or spawning over in this area to give yourself a chance. This spawn isn't too bad for B, but it actually really does suck because it's a lot farther than from over in this area, right? So do not go in this window if your team is playing capture or defend here. It does them no good, because if they lose a gunfight, they're spawning behind you, and then it's 10, 15 seconds plus, maybe sometimes 20 seconds before they re-get position, especially if they run up here and die again, come back, run up here, die again, come back, run up here, die again, come back. You really don't want domino deaths in here, because that creates domino spawns, which means you're only getting one player at a time to show up to the point, right? So when we get over to B, we're going to set one dude up here by this little orange truck right here, and what this is going to do is going to keep our spawn this side. You're going to set a guy playing this direction, looking this way, covering flank. You're going to have a guy playing this window right here, and if you are defending, put a guy on the roof, on the red roof. If you are capturing, put a guy in here to capture, obviously. Let's go over here and we'll talk about why. We'll talk about this guy since he's closest. This guy can be playing back here, but it's very obvious because that is a spawn location, and they can spawn right out of there, and the only route they have is this way. This is a flank route. People flank this way. They flank the top. That's how they get in the window, right? This guy right here is very important because he's holding up flank. If you don't hold your flank, then they're going to flip it on you, right? And this guy right here is holding our spawn. He's got a clear line of soccer, windows, everything you could think of, and he can also play bottom building right here, and he can also watch this guy while he is over here. This guy should not cross past this point. He should not cross past these boxes. He can even play farther back deep this way if he wants. But this guy right here is going to get a lot of kills sent to him. Like, everybody who comes down soccer field to this side, which is a good side to come down soccer because it's got so much cover from these trucks. You can literally hide over here till somebody says somebody's on the thing. Then you just come out here, get them. I mean, it's super simple. He can also cover back over here, right? You can cover alley, you can cover bottom, and you can cover flank if he has to. Now, let's talk about the guy up here. This guy up here is pretty much just going to slow these guys down, make them think twice about taking these windows, and giving shout outs like, hey, I just seen one peek around this corner. He's coming right to you, you know. And then then he's a backup gun for him and for the guy that we're going to place over here. So this would be defending. It's super easy to defend this way, and especially if you stay in position and you have guys that are actually good at their job, right? The guy's going to play the alley, he's going to play the middle, and you know, has to watch his flank as well. But all these guys are getting information relayed to them over and over repeatedly. This guy playing here, guys, spawns, comes around that fence, walks right into soccer. Then he immediately communicates, hey, red, guy on red building, there's a guy coming soccer field. Soccer field communicates to him, or you communicate to team, hey, they're coming soccer field. Then these two guys can put their guns on soccer field. This guy back here holding flank, when he sees people rushing flank or sees somebody's coming to the top or whatever he sees, he says, hey, they're flanking you. So he can just come in here and be playing his flank, covering flank, or he can give him a nice little rotate and pinch him with him, and then he's right back to his route. You know, playing here is always fun, man, especially if you play inside and outside. And don't live out here on this roof. It's the easiest way to get sniped or shot. But, you know, play inside and jump back outside. Literally, you can just hide in here until somebody comes on point and get them out here and get them. Same thing for the guy over there. Same thing for the guy on the roof. You can just hide until they show up and they come out here and shoot them. They don't even know you're here. They check the whole way up here. They didn't see no hiding hair of you. You can literally just sit here and defend. And you'll run down the clock because they're spawning from the farthest point away. They're running into the most amount of gunfire that you can possibly run into. And then, you know, obviously, this guy would have to pick up flank, or the guy on the roof would have to pick up flank, and this guy would have to cover here by himself, and one player to play point and one player to play roof. Keep your team spawning in this quadrant. Now, if you take off from this position and you run all the way down here to get spawn kills on these guys, what you just did is gave them this spawn. And then their whole team flanks. You're not there to pick up flank. Say you guys in here, nobody's picking up flank. They get over here, they do this. Now your whole team's spawning here, and they got you in a problem. So now let's go talk about A. A can be played a lot of different ways because A is kind of in a funny position on the map. Now, if you remember, I said cut the map in half and cut it in half. You know, put an X right in the map, right down the middle, both ways, and you have quadrants. So A is split between this quadrant and this quadrant. So you can play it from this quadrant, or you can play it from this quadrant, or you can play it from both quadrants. And we'll just go over there and we'll set up and talk a little bit about positioning from inside of A. The spawn, if you're going to be playing just one half, like you're going in here and you're not going past, you know, the end of this control zone or end of this capture zone, your spawn that you want is that spawn right there. And a good way to hold here and ensure spawn is to play this position, play back by this tree, and play flank. You know, if you're playing flank, you're simultaneously giving your team a good spawn area. But the thing about the spawn is, as soon as the spawn guy dies, that means there's an enemy gonna be, you know, probably running over his body, flipping the spawn out. But you know, play boxes all you want to play boxes, play top all you want to play top. But I will say one thing: if you have a teammate that is playing, you know, playing here, and there's nobody picking up that side, picking up this side right here, I don't know why it says been looted, but you know, he's watching this half and that door. It's a big job, and as soon as people find out you're there, they immediately want you out of there. And this guy's the same idea, but the guy who's here and the guy that are here have each other's back. Now, two dudes that can hold these two positions really well, cover this door, cover that door, cover this door. Same thing for him. you have it locked down. There's not really anybody can get in there on you except for the guy that's going to come up here and try to snipe you out of tower. Now you can talk about the guys that want to jump over here and play box. A is one of those situations, it's almost easiest to defend from inside. But we're going to talk about something that's a little bit different that you don't ever really see anybody do on here, but it could be a actually very effective and very advantageous setup if you have everybody on board and everybody, you know, willing to participate. And it is you play both these two quadrants, and then you give the enemy these two quadrants, and hopefully what they'll do is they'll split spawn and they won't bum rush one side or the other. And you have a guy playing this flank, a guy playing this flank, and two guys playing these two doors. And then these guys can pick up the guys coming up top and the guys flanking, coming up top and flanking these two cover guys coming from the doors. This is a good way to keep them spawning farther away from the capture point, and a good way to keep your team covered on all angles. This guy can play anywhere over here. This guy can play anywhere over here, just not too far up this way because they might get a whole team to spawn caddy corner. Don't play tower if you're going to set up like this, because you don't need two guys playing tower. The only other thing that I want to talk about capture or control, same difference, vice versa, is contesting. Just contest. Just pop your elbow in and contest. I don't care if this guy's killed you 7 times in a row because you keep running in here. Only thing you're going to do is run in here and die again and run our lives down and take a L. And meanwhile, while you're respawning, they're running up a segment and running down the time clock. So we literally pop our elbow in, keep it there. I just keep it there. Don't move. You don't have to fight anybody. You don't have to rush anybody. Just keep it there. It stops the clock from ticking down, and it stops them from scoring points. And it gives your team time to show up. Contest. This is a very good spot to contest from, depending on where any of these doors. If there's a player playing that door or that door, you can very sneakily sneak up in here and contest the best that you can, even get a nice little shot on him. But I would highly recommend, you know, contesting from that door or from the inside doors. Just coming in here and doing this. You don't even have to go prone. You can just step on the line. The guy that's holding boxes right there, he won't be able to do anything besides come out of his hiding spot. Even if you hold him contested for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it doesn't matter because the clock has stopped. The only thing that's going down is lives, and let's say this guy's being stubborn, won't give up his position. You're being stubborn, you won't give up position. Well, you're a life that is not getting killed for your team, and your team could be, you know, killing the guys off as they're coming in here, just keeping it contested and running their lives down. Every match is different. Every situation is different. I would recommend, if you're playing as a 4-man team, to cap one objective at a time. And if you find yourself in a position to where an enemy is really, really good at defending one or the other, or capturing one or the other, then that's the one that you need to go for first, and you need to set up on first, right? If they're really good at killing you off on one objective, that's the one that you need to start with. Don't shy away from it, because you need the bigger portion of lives in the beginning of the match, right? You need the bigger portion of lives to get you through them contesting and defending you from capturing. But if you're and it goes vice versa. If you're spawning here, it's the same idea. You need to get around. I would flank and get them out of here and set up on this one. But literally, if you're spawning here, then you should just come up here and cap A first, unless you have a situation to where the enemy team is severely overpowered at doing B. Don't save the hardest one for last, because then you'll run out of lives, right? But I hope you guys liked the video. Thanks for stopping by. Please drop a like and subscribe. If you want to see me break down any more stuff, especially about rank play or strategy or team play, just let me know. Just drop a comment. Let me know if I've messed anything up. Let me know if I'm not making any sense, or I'm just talking, you know, jibber jabber.